Welcome to the MoneyShow.com video network. My guest today is Dan Gramza. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks.
Well, you've talked about 3 common abuses that option traders make, or mistakes. Tell me what those are.
Well, I think there's 3 things when it comes to a directional trade. If people have an opinion about the direction of the market, here's where I think the problems come into play. The first one is they're not necessarily making a decision based upon a solid reference of why they have this opinion about a directional move. Now, from my perspective, what I use, Tom, is I use technical analysis to find a nice, clean setup that's screaming at me there's a particular bias in this market. That's one issue. Another issue is time. That if this trade is going to work, and what I'm talking about here applies to any technical approach, that the next 3 to 4 periods after your setup of a reversal signal, if it doesn't work within that time frame, probability is it won't. So if you and I set up this trade, we see a technical buy, we decide to buy a call, how long do we leave that position on? In my opinion, if it doesn't move in the next 3 to 4 days, the probability starts going down. I would exit that position, actually, take that money and put it someplace else. The problem that people have sometimes is they say, this option only cost me $500, so we'll just leave it there and see what happens. What they end up doing is donating that money to the market. So I think time is an important parameter to put in play there. The other one is the strike. That's also another area that I think gets abused when it comes to option trading. I prefer looking at an option slightly out of at the money so that the delta is working for that trade. A lot of people say, well, I'll take that out of the money option with the delta of 10, which means it only has a 10% chance of being in the money. But they're hoping, because of that low premium, that they can get a big move. The probability is they can be right but not make money on that trade. So I want an option with a delta around 50, and I also want to look at an expiration beyond the current expiration, which means that if this trade cooperates, you and I can let it work without worrying about time decay. So I think those are 3 areas that are common areas of abuse when it comes to trading options.
Yeah, I can see why probably too many novice traders probably buy something with three weeks left within that option period, and doesn't give them enough time, and that's one strike against them.
That's exactly right, Tom. And you know, one of the things, the feeling is it's cheaper. It costs less. So what I'm suggesting, an option near at the money, that's more expensive than that out of the money option. An option that has more time value to it. So it's the expiration beyond the current. That has an additional premium component. But remember, we're looking at this within a short period of time. So if this doesn't move within the next week, let's say, if you want to give it more time, 5 days or so, then we'll stand aside. So that specific requirement, the amount of time decay you're going to have, the amount of premium decay you're going to have, is going to be a lot less. So the cost actually to do that trade can be cheaper by using the at-the-money option with that specific time parameter.
Yeah, because if you're wrong and that 5-day period elapses, you know, the setup hasn't gone the way you expected it to go, you know, your loss is going to be relative on a percentage basis less.
That's correct. That's exactly right. And that's why I found that more productive. And it also allows us to take that money and look for another opportunity that's nice and clean. As opposed to, at that moment, you're shifting into a hope trade. You're hoping that the market works. If you're looking for a directional trade, that market should move within the specified time period. You're looking for it. Why did you do the trade in the first place? Because you saw something that implies something is going to happen. Well, if it hasn't happened, then chances are it's not going to happen. And I find trades that if they're energetic enough with the setup, then I'm looking for that follow through relatively quickly.
Well, I hope some traders listen to you, Dan. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
You've been watching the MoneyShow.com video network.